Hello YouTube, I'm Claire, aka Lesbian Nerd, here to put diverse books in the spotlight. Whether you're here for representation or just to diversify your reading list, I hope I have some titles that you can enjoy. So today I'm going to be continuing my series on YA fiction with Black trans protagonists with this lovely book called Brew by Lady Dane, Figueroa, Edidi. And this is a fantasy, magical type story. I'm going to read the back because it probably summarizes it better than I can. So, Arjana Rambeau, a trans teenager from Baltimore, carries many secrets, one of which is she is a witch. Beginning to start a new school, she finds herself at the center of an unwarranted conspiracy. As she makes new friends while attempting to maintain her old ones, she must learn how to distinguish who she can trust, because it seems everyone wants a piece of her and her growing powers. Bembe Rambeau is a mystery, infamous among the magical community. She has very few friends, but a collection of enemies who seem to be attempting to remove not only her allies, but her daughter as well, threatening both her small empire and family's legacy. Bembe must now combat shifting loyalties while crafting an alliance with an enemy she once wished dead. Brew follows the lives of a mother and daughter, one who thinks she knows everything, and another discovering what she knew isn't true at all. So, that's a pretty good summary, but yeah, the main character, kind of the focus character, is Arjana, but there are several different narrating characters. Most of them have magical powers of some sort or another, and a lot of them who attend this magical school. So it's a pretty cool setup. There's some interesting magical creatures and other like power systems and different people that come into play. There's a lot of different characters, and they can be a little bit hard to keep track of at times, but I think that the author does a really good job of making sure that everybody has a distinct voice, so that's really good. Something I really liked about the story is that, like, unlike a lot of other YA I've read, the parents are not only involved in this, they, like, play a significant part of the story. Like, they're very much there. They're not just letting, the teenagers run around saving the world and be like, okay, you've got this. They're there. And, at least two parental figures and a lot of, like, adults have narrating roles in this, and they take part in the story, so that's really cool. I think that the author has a really, really cool descriptive style that's really unique and poetic, and I really, really liked it. It was really fun to read, and as far as representation goes, this book has awesome representation in space. This was an own voices book, meaning that the author identifies with one or more, or in this case, all of the identities that her characters share. So, Arjana is a Black, Cuban, and Native American trans girl, and that's the main character. And there are several queer characters in this book. There are 4 trans characters in total, which is good, and is just like putting the only trans person in the world trope way to the side, so that's awesome. There's also queer characters. Most of them are queer, I think, and there's a lot of representation of religious minorities as well. There are Jewish and Muslim characters, several of them. Most of the characters are Black, which is cool. A lot of them are also mixed. So if you are looking for Afro-Latinx or Afro-Indigenous representation, this book's got it. So, yeah, it's really cool. I did have a couple of problems with the book. I think my biggest one is insta-love. There are a lot of characters that they're falling in love at first sight all over the place, and maybe that's more your thing, but I prefer the slow burn romance kind of deal, so it's up to preference. If you're also a slow burn person like me, don't read this for the romance. I mean, it's good romance, they're cute couples, and they're healthy, which is the most important. But there are also a lot of other reasons to pick up this book. The fantasy world is really intriguing, the action is intriguing, it's all really, really good, and there's also multiple character relationships that aren't romantic that are really good to read about, just family and friendship type stuff. So, yeah, the second problem I had is with the villain. I feel like there's not enough being said about this villain. I don't have too much of a sense of who he is, why he's so powerful, and why people listen to him and do what he wants. This is part of a series, so there will be two books. There are two books after this, actually, so hopefully that will get settled a little more as the series goes on, and we'll find out a bit more about this villain. So yeah, this is a really, really good book, and I definitely recommend it. Yeah, um, the resource that I'm gonna post at the end of this video is this time going to be a link to Lady Dane Figueroa Edidi's own website because, like I said, she's written a lot of books. There's this series, and there's also a book called Your Maya's Daughters, and a whole bunch of poetry, I think. So if you're looking for books similar to this one, it's great. But yeah, I suggest that you pick up this book if you like fantasy, if you're looking for representation of queer people of color. If you're like Harry Potter, you probably like this book. If you like Harry Potter but are really pissed at J.K. Rowling for trying to get brownie points for including representation that she never included, read this book because it's way better by far. Yeah, I think there's a lot of good stuff in the story. And like I said before, I really, really like that there were actual adult characters in this book that actually do stuff. That was really cool. So yeah, if you have any comments you'd like to share, if you've read this book and would like to give your feedback too, comment below. If there's any kind of representation that you'd really like to see, comment below. All of you are absolutely amazing, and you deserve books that reflect that. And I hope that you have a wonderful night and keep reading.